I am William Keats,
This is Mrs. Harris, our mayor.
and this is Mr. Parker. So, how do you like your job as mayor?
Well, thank you, William. I love my job as mayor. You may know, many of you, that I actually grew up here in Duluth. So this town is very important to me. So 10 years ago, I decided to run for mayor, and I have really enjoyed it. I'm in my 9th year, which is my 3rd term.
And for you?
I have a lot of fun. We have a great opportunity here. Our company on Main Street gets to study about community growth challenges, transportation, and environmental challenges, and how to make it all work better. So it's a lot of fun every day.
So,
What's your best part of being the mayor?
Absolutely seeing progress happen and seeing people come together and share the vision and making things happen. You know, I need clarification where I'm supposed to look when I answer these questions.
We have multiple angles.
Which one would that? All right,
Not this one.
okay, so,
Either one.
okay, thank you.
so your best part of your job?
Getting to see community come together over solving an important problem where everyone reaches some kind of consensus, a little give and take, but for the long-term quality of life, good solutions like that are very rewarding.
When you step into the office every day, what do you do? Like, what is your schedule?
Okay. You know, this is really a confusing topic for people. I am an elected official, so really, technically, I would never have to put my foot in the door. Once you're elected, you're there until your term ends. But I'm absolutely not that kind of mayor. I do something 4 or 5 days a week, probably 7 days a week, let's be honest. I do a lot of community involvement. I spend most of my hours outside of the office. I go into the city hall 2 days a week for appointments, and then I have several night meetings a week. So I do about 99% of my work out in the office.
What made you want to be the mayor, or made you want to run for the mayor?
About 10 or 12 years ago, the city was starting to demolish a lot of the historical buildings. And since I grew up here, it really bothered me that we were taking down our historical icons. So I started talking to a lot of citizens about it, and it really bothered them as well. I said, well, let's do something about it. So we decided to be vocal about it. So that was really my platform, was historical preservation and redevelopment.
When you first started being the mayor, what was the first thing you had in mind to do for this country?
For the country,
Or for the city?
for the city.
Aspirations, huh?
Yeah, for the country, we need to be loud. For the country, a strong city makes a stronger country. So I can say I am
Okay.
helping the country. The number one thing I was hearing people say was historical preservation, and then Buford Highway and Proctor Square was the number one thing citizens were saying. What are we going to do about that? It looks terrible. What are we going to do about Proctor Square? So finally, 9 years later, Proctor Square is gone, and we have a new vision for that area.
Mr. Parker, when you wake up in the morning, what is in your mind? What's the first thing that you like to do?
After the coffee, so I look forward to starting each day by coming in and thinking of the new things that are left to do on one of our projects. We have one project at the coast, we have one project in the mountains, we have projects here in our broader Atlanta area, and so every day is different. Every day of my job is different. I get to interact with great staff, and we're studying environmental issues, maybe wetlands one day, maybe historic properties one day, maybe a public meeting or something online that we're doing with the public. So every day is different, and I just wake up kind of looking forward to the activities that are coming up each day.
How do you incorporate teamwork into
That's a great question. Absolutely, this is so important for you to understand. It takes so many people to get projects and events and all the things that we have going on accomplished. My job as mayor is to focus on our vision, create a good vision, and then sell the vision by having people give input and work together. So partnership is the key. All of these great things that are going on in the village right now are not because of me, but it's because we have an incredible city staff that has shared our vision with us, and they are moving these things forward. So partnership is the key. There are all kinds of partnerships too, so I could go on more about that.
Okay. So, where do you see the city going in the future? What's your vision for the
Are you asking this?
Well, one thing that we hope to see is that this progress that the city's been making with the redevelopment that Mayor was just talking about, it has great potential to improve the overall quality of life. And so there's going to be better opportunities for more people to walk and bike and get healthier, better management of the traffic we have, better opportunities for jobs and housing. And all those kind of help build a more sustainable community. And so that's a lot of what we study and a lot of what we hope to kind of share with Coleman Middle School in the coming weeks and months, how to make the community's long-term growth more successful.
When you first were running for mayor, how did it feel like running?
what different things did you have to do to
To be mayor?
Okay, to be elected, I guess, as mayor.
Yes.
Well, I had to run a campaign and had a campaign committee. So again, I wasn't alone. I had to have people that believed in me, that felt like that I could be a leader that could carry things forward. So I had to get that message out. I had to market myself. I had to buy signs and make a Facebook page or a website and just those kind of things.
Mr. Bob, Parker, were you excited for running for mayor too?
You did not run for mayor.
I was excited that Mayor Nancy won.
Oh,
That was my excitement.
So Coleman, the new school, we voted to Coleman. How do you like that? How does that incorporate into the whole society of the youth?
So you're asking me? We were very excited about it because seeing the new emphasis on learning, creative learning, incorporating arts into learning is very much a part of how we do things. You'll see artistic things even in our own office space from our own projects. We want to see a very active kind of learning, and we think that the way you're approaching that now and some of the topics we're already hearing about are going to be really important to help build new young leaders that can help improve life right here in this community and have a lot of options right here in Duluth instead of having to move away to find those options.
I'd like to piggyback on that too, if you don't mind. Well, my career before I was mayor was 30 years as an educator, including teacher and principal. And I was a big advocate at the time of interdisciplinary learning, which is exactly what the STEAM school is putting all those disciplines together towards learning a project. It's a real life project. So this was already a passion for me. To have this right downtown on Main Street is just a dream come true. The entire council feels this way. We are excited about the opportunities ahead. It's incredible that you have this expertise right here by the school. So I think there's some wonderful partnerships that are forming because of this school. And I love Brooks Coleman. He was my 5th grade math teacher. So I am excited that this school was named after him.
That's great. We love seeing all the students, both from high school and middle school, out after school. We have a great view from our office to see all that activity. So
Except the skateboards.
no problem with skateboards.
On the rail, not on the rails. It's dangerous.
Are there any future projects planned for water conventions or water contaminations?
Water contamination? I'm not sure. I can talk a little bit about how we do approach water. I think Mr. Barker's going to be more of an expert on that.
I think what they may have been wondering is maybe the whole issue of water quality and water supply. So a lot of municipalities kind of take their own initiatives, and a lot of that has to do with conserving, recycling, making sure you're making wise use of water when it's limited. And I think Duluth is being within Gwinnett County, we have a lot of initiatives with the water treatment options, with the water facility that's near the Mall of Georgia. They actually reclaims water through a really incredible process that some counties don't have that. So there's a lot of, I think, ideas and goals, and a lot of that kind of merges with new learning from students that become college students that get into disciplines of science and engineering that help find new practical ways to extend the water resources that we have. So some of you will be solving better water solutions 10, 15 years from now.
I've got a couple of things to say about that as well. A few years ago, we implemented a stormwater fee, and I'm really proud of that. It's $36 a year is the average amount for a homeowner, and it's really important because it goes into a fund that we only spend on pipes and drainage that has to do with taking stormwater to the proper places. So I'm really proud of that. That was a big effort for the city. If you have impervious surfaces at your home, your stormwater fee is going to be lower if you're a business. If you have a lot of surfaces that do not absorb water, your stormwater fee is going to be higher. So that's a very simple way of explaining that. So I think that's a wonderful thing we implemented. Listen to this example of why it's great. About 3 months ago, we had a problem down the road with a pipe that had fallen in, and the road fell. We had just annexed that property in a few years ago, and we had no idea that we were inheriting an old 40-year-old pipe. Well, when the pipe fell, all the businesses couldn't get to work. That makes people upset. So the price to repair that pipe was $350,000. We were able to go to our stormwater account and pay for that pipe. So that shows the value of implementing that. The second water issue that I wanted to mention is several years ago we decided that we wanted to irrigate and water our town green using our city wells. So we spent some money to get that started. We started irrigating our town green. Well, all of our cement walkways and all of our beautiful brick was all tarnished with this rust color. We found out that our well water had so much rust in it that we were unable to use it to water our town green. So that's a problem we haven't solved. And we would love to use our well water, but we have a problem with it. It's full of rust. But Todd, maybe you can help us with that problem.
We'll look at that, or maybe someone will, if it takes long enough, someone will solve it from Coleman.
That would be a wonderful problem to work on.
That's something that's really important when you see landscaping, when you see fountains and water features. We all like to have fun with it, but in times of drought, those are tough decisions. Can a city provide that? And so when you can find a way to use a source that doesn't drain some of the scarce resources of water for the whole area, and find a way to reuse it, that's ideal. And that's one of those kind of sustainable approaches that long term, as you're able to afford, a city can put more and more of those measures into place. So, great.
I have a question for both of you. So we have the new school, we have town green, everybody has jobs. How can we improve the traffic in Duluth?
I'm going to go for that first.
Go for it.
Okay, everybody needs to understand, we are a railroad city. We have a railroad in the middle of our downtown. We have trains that go through our city 26 to 32 times a day. We will always have traffic problems. But we have recently implemented a new road structure right over the railroad track for safety reasons. And right now, traffic is not going very well. But we also know that we have not correctly timed the traffic signals with the railroad. So the Georgia Department of Transportation, their engineers are working on that. So we're going to always have a traffic problem around here, especially now with the school. But
And I think what you have to realize is that this is a great community. It's located within a great county. That county is part of a big region. And many of the jobs we're talking about, for a lot of the general public around us, they're driving. They're having to have access every day, every morning, every afternoon, similar to the school schedule. And so a lot of the traffic is a challenge, not just in one place, but for the whole 15, 20, 40 miles worth. And so some of the big picture improvements that are being done, we will start to see on Highway Interstate 85, some of the improvements extending the, what they call the hot lane. That's going to go well past Mall of Georgia. Some of those other types of big picture improvements are really expensive, and we're helping on some of those. But the really expensive type of projects that they have to spread around the region have a really big effect on the overall traffic, and that can kind of have a triple effect, because if there's a big incident, something that holds up traffic on the interstates, you'll see it back up really bad in all the cities, just like here in Blue. So that is kind of compounded by having the daily train schedules and those kinds of issues. So you may see some really light days and some really heavy days. A lot of that has to do with 1 mile or 5 miles away, something happened. These improvements that they're starting to phase in with Georgia DOT, we're going to have more of that regional improvement that we'll all start to notice over time.
Will recycling bins be placed around the city?
will they be? Well, we have recycling bins around the city, and every home has access to recycling bins. We have a wonderful recycling program here in Duluth. I can elaborate on it.
That might actually be newer. They maybe, do you remember when that actually started? Maybe someone was asking because they weren't aware that it's been in place.
I think it's been in place for a while.
Well, that's maybe something that everyone needs to know, that it's out there, it's available. We actually recycle here. We have training sessions from the public. We separate it. And we have recycling bins right out by our office in the back. We use it, so it's always great.
I have a personal question. So, I like Food Truck Fridays. I like the concept. How long do you think that will stay in place?
You're asking me?
Yes.
Well, we participate in it more frequently than I probably should. So if we are helping sustain it by giving them business, I would say for years to come. We actually have bistro tables out here to have some just an opportunity for the public to enjoy it. And sometimes we're here working and we see everyone enjoying that. So we hope that the city will be able to keep having those kinds of big events. And I love how they tie it with family activities, the movie, the music, and all that. So as long as the weather is permitting, I hope it doesn't ever go away.
Let me give you a history about food trucks here in downtown Duluth. About 3 or 4 years ago, we brought in one food truck, and we put it down where Red Clay is. Well, a couple of people went crazy mad about it. How dare you bring in a food truck? That's going to take away from my business. So we went to the business owner and said, well, let's just give it a try, and let's see if maybe your business goes up that night. So we brought in a lot of food trucks. What we wanted to see was, if we were to have a lot of options for people to eat in downtown Duluth, would they come? Would this just be a destination? Would you just come because you knew you could get good food? So that's how food trucks started. That business owner, the night that we brought in all the food trucks, said it was one of his best nights ever. So from that point on, they were a success. They have been a huge success, and it has proven to our council that we can sustain a restaurant district. So that's exactly why we moved forward with turning the block into a restaurant district, and that's where Greenland is now. So that entire area, including Main Street, will have about 10 to 12 restaurants. The future of food trucks is iffy. We could use your input on that. We're talking a lot about that. We're debating that. Believe it or not, our merchants On Main Street, want us to stop food trucks. They do not like us closing Main Street. It has hurt some of their traffic. They love all the people, but the people are not necessarily going into their shops. So we've got some questions that we could certainly use your input on. What we're thinking we're going to do, Mr. Barker, I hope this won't disappoint you, is we really see Food Truck Friday maybe expanding over to include the plaza in front of Greenland. And perhaps instead of closing Main Street, the focus will be more just to spread over there as well. So it's up in the air. I personally think we should keep some food trucks on Friday because it's a social time. People like being outdoors and interacting with each other. We have decided that we're not going to go through October next year. We're going to stop earlier,
Okay.
probably September, because the crowds are starting to go down.
They're waiting for the cool version of this.
Maybe.
We've had a 90-degree version all the
That's
entire
true.
summer.
So it's up in the air right now. We would love your input on that.
You know, it's something when you mentioned with the merchants, one of the things that I noticed and spoken to some of them, because we try to get out and engage with them frequently, is that some of them are just learning that they have a built-in market right there, that if they stay open later in the evening, they can have an opportunity. A lot of them are accustomed to more of the business hours of everyone else driving home during 5 o'clock and closing up early, where a lot of the activity is happening after even 8 or 9 o'clock. So those are some choices that everyone has to make as far as their long-term viability with the activity, so that it all becomes not just social, but an opportunity for their business to thrive too. So that's something we've noticed being right here on Main Street, that we've actually spoken to some of the business owners about.
You know, it's our responsibility as a city just to bring vibrant, exciting activities to the downtown. It's up to the merchants to decide what their business hours are, how they want to market this. We're not responsible for that. So I'm glad that dialogue is going on.
Is there any possibilities to build railroads over the railroad tracks similar to the N. Berkeley Lakewood?
You know, everything's possible, but the answer is no for us. That plan was debated about 15 years ago, before I was mayor. Believe it or not, it would be an extremely expensive project. And when you start going over a railroad track, you have to start probably down Highway 120 past where Proctor Square was demolished. And it would, how do I explain that?
Well, the biggest thing is we've worked on several projects with it. You have to be so high up because at a certain height you have to go over. So and you can't be too sharp with an angle. So it would be such a huge change that you would devastate a lot of the close by properties and buildings just to have that highway high enough to go over the rail.
Plus, it was also decided that it would have, everybody would bypass downtown Duluth. And then for sure Duluth would have just dried up and I don't think we would be here. So, I don't think
We don't want that to happen.
So, which one of you is more involved with construction? Construction.
Around here, we're not involved in any of the construction projects or the schedules or anything right here in the downtown. Mary may know some of the general details about it, but I don't know how much she's been out there with the hard hat and the cream.
So so that means you guys don't know about when construction will be completed between Town Green and Dreamland Market?
I do, I know about that. You're talking about where Greenland is, all that construction. Yes, the timeline is right after the holidays, the beginning of the year. We got an update yesterday. They're going to probably finish the exterior soon, and then they'll be working on the interior. So 2017, maybe by spring, we'll have some businesses in there.
Why is it not developing the area across from Dunkin' Donuts? We should make more parks.
The area across from Dunkin' Donuts on Buford Highlands, we don't own that area. That's all private property. So we don't develop land that we do not own. We do not own where Proctor Square stands. But I do know that if Proctor Square development is called called the Duluth Village. We need to stop calling it Parker
Run
Square.
around, what's going on?
If the Duluth Village is a success, which I think it will be, people are already looking at the land across from Dunkin'. They're already assembling property and pricing it out. So something will happen. This Duluth Village is what I call a catalyst project. It is the key project that's going on. In a way, in my opinion, and the staff, is a bigger project than the restaurant district because things are going to really change when that corner changes. It's going to be a whole new field.
Well, I thank you. We're out of time. Thank you for your time.
And it was great meeting you too.
Thank you both. You did very well. Nice job.
I look forward to a lot of fun activities with your school.
Welcome to Duluth Middle School and Coleman Middle School and Hall Middle School. They're all middle schools in our cluster, and I hope you're all getting to see this. It's a lot of fun.